Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is James and welcome back to the Soundline. So in this video what we have for you today is we have here a Well-Tempered Labs Amadeus 254 and we're going to be installing the Well-Tempered LTD arm into it. So this is what it comes like in its package. This just slots out of here I believe, and then we're going to basically assemble it, get it on here, get it all set up and show you how that works. So that just slides out of there. Okay, so this little piece of plastic guys that comes in the top of here, if you're not using a well-tempered turntable, if you're using something else, this is your protractor for installing this tone arm onto that. So you would line this up with your spindle, and then depending on the model of tone arm you have, the 9-inch or the 10-inch, these tell you where the pivot points should be and where you need to drill. But since this is a well-tempered turntable, we don't need to worry about that. So we can put that back there, open it up, and here's everything we need. So we've got the tone arm sitting in here. We've got some tone arm damping fluid. We've got the actual cup. What do you call it?
Yeah, the bearing cup and gallows pole assembly for the suspension.
Yeah, we've got the suspension assembly. A couple of counterweights in here, a steel one and an aluminium one for different weights of cartridge. And some mounting hardware with our finger lifter, a couple of Allen keys for adjustments. And that's pretty much everything as far as I can tell. So step one is pretty much just to get the assembly mounted in here. This turntable has points on the side. Has a point on the side of it here for where there is a set screw in there, which we will use one of these Allen keys to tighten up once we have this in and set at the right height. So this cup here is machined out of one solid piece of aluminium. And then these extra bits here, as you can tell if you look all over it, there are tiny little grub screws all over it which keep all of the parts assembled together. But this main cup here is one solid piece of aluminium.
I'm not sure which.
So this should just slide on in like that. Now that's not where it's going to sit. We're going to have it raised up obviously and tighten the screw up once we have it at an ideal starting height. So yes, there is a little grub screw in here which works off this little, I'd say 2mm Allen key, which just slots in there. We get our tone arm, our assembly, and that just gently slots in there, like so. And you kind of want to orientate it so that this rectangular section is parallel to the edge of the plinth. So I'm just going to set it down around about there for now. We'll adjust the height later on once we're getting it fine-tuned, but for now I'm just going to gently finger tight that up there. Enough so it doesn't want to move, but not so tight that you either thread out the grub screw or do any damage to it. So that's the first step. Next step is getting out the tone arm. Okay, so what we want to do, if we take this metal grommet off of here, it just slides off because it has a rubber bushing on the inside of it, which gives it some friction. It's the same technique, eh? Same technique. So what you do is you take your metal grommet, drop the wire, the nylon thread over top of it, and then you go around once more so that, I'm just trying to check where this is looking. So you see here, the threads are coming down both sides of it rather than coming from the middle. Now what we want to do, just be careful with your little plug there that you don't put any tension or weight on it. Now we want to do a counterclockwise twist to provide the anti-skate. So we just go 180 degrees counterclockwise. Slot that on there. Like so. And then we can start to line that up a bit better. And then that will rest in there. Now at the moment it is in no way, shape or form ready to go. There are a lot of adjustments we can do here, like moving this column up and down to get this lower in the cup. We can move this along here. We can twist that to get it more centered. But for now what we'll do is we'll get our hot lead plug, find the widest little piece which goes usually goes up there, And then when you're installing this, guys, you want to pinch it from the top here. Try and locate the wide piece, locate where that goes, and then push it in like that, and it will click. If you pinch it here, it won't lock on, it won't push in when you're doing it because that's the locking piece. So when you're removing it, you pull up on that bit and it will slide out, but when you're installing it, you push by pinching on the top of it like that and it locks on. So now what we need to do is definitely get the height of this a bit better because that is looking wrong. We need our smallest Allen key, which comes with the tone arm. This little 1.5mm. Gently just loosen off the set screws. There's two of them holding this column in here. Loosen those off so that you can just lower this down a bit more. And you want the little bits of white plastic that are coming out the sides of the golf ball to be around about level with the top of the cup there. So I'm pretty happy with there. So just holding it, just gently finger tighten that back up. Don't apply too much pressure because it is just aluminium. Like that. And we'll just adjust our azimuth a wee bit so it's a bit more balanced. Now the other thing I'm going to want to do is raise up this little resting section here because at the moment it's leaning down this way. Again with the small Allen key. There is a small grub screw just on the front here, which that slots into and loosens off, and then we can just bring that up gently, tighten it up. Right there I've got the bottom of this column here about flush with the bottom of this piece of aluminium. So at this point, guys, once you've got your tone arm sitting nice and level with the plinth, and you've got this sitting central in the cup, now is the time when you can put in your silicone damping gel. We're not going to do that because this is just a demonstration purpose for you guys, and otherwise it means we have to clean it out and it can be a real mess. So we're not going to worry about that just for this video. But once you've done that, you can start moving on to attaching your cartridge to the end of the tone arm with the finger lifter, which is here, and that is included with the tone arm. And once you've got that down, the next step is to, once you've got your cartridge on, get your counterweight right, so you can put your cartridge on, lower it onto a record with your, not a record, sorry, onto an electronic tracking force scale, which looks like this, and that'll tell you within 0.01 grams what your tracking force is. And you do that by putting these counterweights on. It comes with two counterweights, which I'm going to struggle to get out with one hand because it's tight packaging. There's a steel one, and there is an aluminium one. Depending on the weight of your cartridge, you will need one or the other, or possibly both if you have a very heavy cartridge. For instance, over on our other well-tempered turntable, we have a 17DX Dynavector, which is quite heavy and requires both of these to be, I can't get that out, Frank. There we go. So yeah, aluminium black one, steel chrome one, and you just, the way you set your counterweight up, it's very easy. I tend to start with the steel one just because most cartridges are, around about the sort of 5 to 8 gram mark. You just slide this onto here, twisting it as you go because that helps the rubber move. Start about the middle, lower this down onto your scale, check your weight, and then you move this along and twist it as you go because it just helps it move, and that will help you get the correct tracking weight. So what I might do, guys, just for you to show you the idea of how it works, I'm going to attach a cartridge onto here real quick. You guys all know how to attach cartridges to tone arms, so I'm going to breeze by that and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so I've got my cartridge on here. Let me just release this. Now I'm going to lower this down onto my scale, and at the moment I'm on 1.17, which isn't enough weight, so I need to move the counterweight a little bit further forward so that there is more weight at the front. So I'm just going to slowly have a few goes at this and see what I can get it to. 1.49. This cartridge needs to be 1.8 grams, which is pretty standard. That's 2.05, so just a wee bit further, a little bit back. 1.75, a little bit further forward. 1.86. That's fine for now. We're not going to be running it, so that'll be good enough. But you can see that the exact position where that sits on that tone arm there is what determines how much weight there is at this end. Our lifter works. Lift that up off the thing, bring that back over here, and set it down into our rest. Now that will be a bit easier if you have the fluid in the cup, because it kind of prevents it from doing all of this moving around. The damping fluid really slows it down and makes it a bit easier to work with. And that's pretty much the gist of it, but the next thing you want to do is check and see what the level of this tone arm is when you're playing a record. So either with a spare record, or we have here a little plastic mat which actually simulates the thickness of our mat plus our record. So put that on there, pick up our tone arm, drop it down, and lower our tone arm lower. And now what we can see by looking at it from here is that the tone arm is leaning down this way. So what I need to do is actually lower this whole assembly a wee bit to the point where that becomes level. And this will take a few tries. Again, you just use the Allen key and this set screw in here, lower it down a wee bit, tighten it up, check it again until you've got it right. So I'm just going to use this Allen key, loosen, drop, tighten, get it square for one. Let's try this again. Definitely still needs to go more. We're a bit closer, just needs a tiny little bit more adjustment. And there we go, we can see now I've got the tone arm much more level with the top of the plinth. And so that's the final resting place of the assembly. And now that that is set, and we've got our level of everything all set, we can check the azimuth. It's already pretty good, but if you need to adjust the azimuth on these turntables, this little grommet here rotates. So if it was, for instance, if the azimuth was way out, it would look like this. And then I would just, over here with my hand, rotate this until it goes back to the correct level. And now that's looking a lot more level with the record. So that just twists for that. And now we're all done. And that, guys, is how you set up the Well Tempered Labs LTD arm. You can unplug it, just like that. Also, as an added feature, this section here, this black bar, if you have it set, if you had the set screw here set to the right tension, or even if you know you're going to be traveling with it, you can have this set looser or completely loosen it off, like that, and then you can twist this once you get the Allen key actually in it and loosen it. And then you can twist this like that and lock it. And now you see here, if I try and get it to focus there, now that's on an angle, which means the tone arm can't actually come up out of it. So it is now locked in position. It can't come up and jump down and damage your stylus or anything like that. And it's good for when you're transporting it in a car or even just around the house. You can twist that to lock it, and then when you're ready to go, simply untwist it like that with your fingers and it becomes free again. Okay guys, well that's it for this video. I hope this has been helpful to some of you or to anyone out there who is setting up one of these tone arms on a well-tempered turntable or a different turntable. Or even if you weren't setting up one at home, if you found this video enjoyable, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section and I will try and answer them for you. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let the music play, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ka kite anō.